Imagine you're shipped to an island with 9 other people. Each of you wears a foot strap containing a bomb. You have 30 hours to be the only survivor. If you can't do that, it's over. In this movie, an eccentric millionaire named Ian had the stupid idea to purchase prisoners and let them participate in his game. The death game happens on the island of New Guinea. The event will be live streamed online and will cost around 50 USD. His goal is to beat the Super Bowl quota of 40 million viewers. The rules are very simple. The strap bomb explodes either when you pull out the red lace or when you try to remove it. After the red lace has been pulled, 10 seconds remain until boom. Now if you're quick in picking stuff up, then you have realized that means you must get into close combat if you want to survive. Because in order to win, you must activate the bomb of your enemies, because you have to be the last man standing, or woman in this case. If not, then the bombs will go up regardless. But what if you're physically inferior than your opponents? Well, I will show you my strategy on how to survive and beat each and every combatant on this island. But before we get to that, let me introduce you to the beginning of this movie. Ian's team sets up hidden cameras on the remote island. While they are finishing off their last preparations, the prisoners who were chosen are brought to a station on the island next by. We got 2 women and 8 men. Pretty much everyone is pretty jacked up. Physically, I wouldn't stand a chance. And if I'm being honest here, this moment is very important because it lets you have a look on who you're going to face. I would shut up for once, take a step back and observe each and every character in this room. Most of these people would rip me apart in a one-on-one, no question. And that is good to know because now I know what I gotta do. Be sneaky, silent and run away if necessary. Those jacked up dudes aren't very fast, that much we can tell. Unless we're talking about this Japanese dude right here. But anyway, for now, let's begin with the game. First, we are being flown over to the island. That shouldn't be neglected, by the way. You won't be getting a better view of the battlefield than this. If you have missed that, then I don't know, but it doesn't look good for you. As we can see, we got coastlines, a deep jungle, and as we get to see later, mountains and cliffs. Each participant is thrown out with the keys for their cuffs. Everyone will be located on the same strip of coastline at first. Now, what do you do once you have landed and the 30 hours have begun? I want you to think about your strategy for a moment and post your way down below. And if you're at it and want to support my work, consider leaving a like, I would appreciate that. Now first of all, I would find out what time it is. This is only possible as long as the sun shines. For that, I would stretch out my hand like this, then count how many times 4 fingers have space in between the sun and the horizon, and then calculate the time until sunset. 4 fingers equal roughly 1 hour. If we don't do this, we have no idea when this game will run out of time, and that is a deal breaker. You see, I wouldn't fight anyone. I would let my enemies weed themselves out before engaging in combat myself. Therefore, I would hide myself before anything else. The rules of thumbs are, don't injure yourself and avoid contact at all costs. If we can achieve that, plus figure out the hour of the day, then we will be able to strategically delay the time of our death and therefore multiply our chances to survive this death game tenfold. Now every combatant is a murderer here, and because of that, finding allies wouldn't even cross my mind. It's not possible to trust anyone here, so why bother? The risk is way too high. After I had figured out the time, I would arm myself with whatever I can find. A sharp rock, piece of wood, or even my released cuffs are better as opposed to bare hands. Then, if I can, I would find sturdy leaves like that of banana trees or palm trees, weave them together and wrap it around the strap bomb on my ankle. Safety first. You don't want something to rip it off while making your way through the jungle now, do you? This would be a fun death to see, but not very inviting way to die yourself. After having taken all these measurements, I would continue with finding an elevated hideout, either on a tree or cliff, but preferably an unobstructed place that has a great view 360 degrees around, that without exposing myself, and then wait this shit out. Now, there is more to add here, but what happens in the movie, you might ask? Well, in the movie, 2 of our enemies already died in the first 10 minutes. One died by landing uncomfortably and the other was killed by the woman he tried to kill. Means 7 enemies are left, although of course we wouldn't know since we too are in the game. This is just for you to understand the plot as well. The main character is Steve Austin, by the way, the big bald dude that looks like he was abandoned in a gym at 6 years old. As of now, all 8 characters are on their journey to avoid getting killed. However, 2 characters are special. These 2 right here. They are a couple. They specifically look out for each other and would gain an advantage if they found themselves before being killed.
That's what I'm talking about.
At this point, it is important to note that there are care packages flying in as well every now and then. They bring in resources like food and weapons. However, they come with a smoke signal every time, so getting near them means entering a danger zone. This guy here is taking way too much time. Grab the bag and then run off is what he should do. We do get a quick showdown here, but nobody is killed. Shortly after, the Japanese guy faces off the English prisoner and they seem to team up. For my taste, way too risky, but to each his own. It is definitely an advantage to hunt down other players in a team. In terms of the care package, by the way, here's what I would have done. Nothing. You see, being the physically unimpressive guy that I am, I would not voluntarily fight over a sandwich with these dudes. If I was starving to death, I would either find other resources or hide around a care package at first and then prey on whoever gets it.
Hold on right there, big man.
Meanwhile, Steve is also entering a fight. The guy he's facing off is even bigger than him. I don't know what these dudes eat, but it can't be anything healthy. He first tried to talk it out. Fair play, but it didn't work. However, it gives me the impression that our main character is actually a pretty nice guy. Anyway, they fight until one red lace is being pulled and, at this point, only 7 are left. I think you would agree that fighting any of these guys so far seems very pointless. At this point, we cut to Sarah, a blonde woman coming home from work. As she's preparing dinner, she receives a call from the FBI. Considering the circumstances, it was probably Chris Voss. They point out that Jack, or Steve Austin, her boyfriend, seems to be in trouble. She makes her way back to Jack's former workplace, logs into the live streaming website of the game, and tries to figure out what is actually happening. At the same time, we cut back to the game where the Latino lovers reunite. That's all beautiful and stuff, but have you seen this guy? That is exactly the reason why I've been opting for hiding, okay? However, that doesn't stop the English and Japanese guys from attacking them. Now, the Latino's leg is broken, and the woman sadly has to bite the dust for good. 6 people left. You see, predictably, these convicts don't shy away from killing each other. And that's good. It's even desirable in a way. Because in the meantime, we're having a great time wherever we are on this island until our time has come. If we're already at it, once we have found our hideout, we would do well to stay hidden until the next day arrives. It would be stupid to engage in any sort of contact during nighttime. But if I had still hours left until sunset, I would start preparing weapons and traps. I would sharpen bamboo sticks with rocks, weave ropes from big leaves, and put them aside for the time being. Ropes and melee weapons are handy in here. In fact, if we find the right resources here, we could even prepare mid and long range weapons like spears. When the nighttime finally arrives, 3 important things happen. First of all, Steve Austin finds a Latino guy with a broken leg. They team up for the time being. He also finds out that attached to the ankle strap, there's also a GPS device on it. With a foil he can take off of an abandoned military equipment, he's able to block the GPS signal, causing the surveillance team to lose his location. That's a very smart move. He additionally points out that he has seen a radio tower on the hillside, meaning if he can make it over, he is able to call for help. At this point, it becomes clear that Ian and his team are stationed on the very island where this death game is being held. That's not very smart, innit? Why would you be on the same island where your captives are playing a death game? That seems a little bit dangerous to me. However, for us, this is a good thing, because now we can figure out our game master's location and then go and kill them instead. And that is what Steve is doing as well. He's hunting down Ian and his team. But before we get to that, the second important thing that happens is this. We find out that Steve here used to be a Black Ops member of the Pentagon. Yep, after his mission went down south a year ago, he was falsely imprisoned in Guatemala and abandoned from his superiors. But as of now, the FBI and Secret Service are on this case and about to intervene. It goes without saying that this death game isn't legal by any means, and it sure as hell doesn't try to stay low-key either. Kind of dumb. The third important thing that happens is this. Now, since our main character is Black Ops Sky, he has no issues with finding the amateurs that are controlling this game. However, he commits a potentially fatal mistake. When he takes out this guard, he doesn't bother hiding the body, which is a no-go. I give him a D- for that. Should have put more hours into Assassin's Creed, my dude. There was so much high grass in the background, he could have easily pulled that corpse in there within a quick second. However, he makes it into the control room, knocks out the next guy, and calls his girlfriend at home. Now at this point, I have to give him props. Instead of rushing her through and stressing her out, he gives her exactly what she wants. Love. If he didn't, we all know where this would have ended. In an argument. So, an A+ for that one. He's able to pass over the coordinates of the island to her, which she's then able to communicate to the FBI. The tables are turning. Meanwhile, in New Guinea, the sun is rising. That means we gotta move as well. By now, the Latino guy has been taken out as well, by the way, and the black dude was killed by the black woman. So we got 4 people left. If we have survived this far, good. We arrived around 4 PM on the island yesterday, meaning we still have a generous amount of time left to be the last one standing. Since we have been resting and preparing since yesterday, we have an edge over every other player that has been fighting ever since. I would start moving 3 hours before the time runs out. That leaves enough time to end unfinished business, but it isn't so much that there aren't any combatants left. It's a sweet balance. I would pick up my bamboo spear, tuck away my bamboo short knives, wrap the rope around my shoulder, and then move swift and low. Having played a good amount of Tomb Raider and Uncharted, I know how this stuff works, okay? I am not an amateur. I would hunt down those people and take them out before they even know what is happening. However, what happens in the movie is Steve Austin faces off the cocky English-Japanese team. Both of them carry melee weapons as well as a bow. Our main character is a bright guy though, and what he does is this. He tapes on metal bars to evade the machetes of his opponent, which is a kinda sick move. I keep this one in mind. Don't ask me where he got the duct tape from though, because I have no idea. But he enters a sick and flashy fight with the 2 enemies. Eventually, he gets almost taken out by the last remaining woman, counters her attack and escapes the explosion with a bit of luck involved. 2 dudes left. He's facing off both at the same time. At this point, I would do a 180 and run. The Japanese guy would probably catch up quicker than the English guy, and that is when I would turn around and slap that dude right to the floor. Our main character does it similarly. I actually don't want to talk around the bush here, so the thing is, in the end, Steve is facing off the English guy in the last showdown. It would be a pretty even fight, but Ian, the producer, rigs the game by flying in a care package containing a shotgun. Talking about fair play, dude, what the hell? That's like watching Shaquille O'Neal in a mosh pit. It's fun, but it's pointless. We know the outcome. Anyway, he seemingly kills off Steve, gets to the streaming station, has his footstrap released, and then goes on a Tarantino redemption journey throughout the office. I actually like this part the most. At the same time, it is sad that the Navy is flying in to take Ian and his team. This guy legit gave an interview about the death game prior to livestream. Not sure that he thought this stuff through, but it doesn't look like it. In the end, our main character gets the British guy, catches up to the fleeing Ian, shoots down the helicopter he's in, misses, gets handed over the footstrap bomb from Ian's girlfriend, what a great irony, and then throws that stuff right before Ian's feet. Now to wrap this stuff up, is it possible to beat this game? Yes, if it wasn't rigged. I think trying to make it to the end of this game is the safest bet whatsoever. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments, and if you have enjoyed this video, leave a like to boost the algorithm. I would appreciate that. And then binge another one. How about that? Peace.